Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sacha Gorelik from the Ecom Copywriter, otherwise known as Sacha Gorelik Copywriting, and today I thought it would be really fun to talk about some of the books I have been reading over the last few years that have helped me both in business and just to improve my writing in general. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, we have this book, which has lost its cover. It's actually This is Marketing by Seth Godin. And actually, one of the first books I read by him was Purple Cow, which I still believe is one of his best ever books. And you could just learn everything there is to learn about marketing from that book. But because I loved it so much, I then went and bought a bunch of his other books as well. So I read this a few years ago already, but it's one of those just great books by Seth that has some really great insights in it as well. Okay, moving on. We have this book, which I actually read recently. See, it's a pair of little black stretchy pants, and it's by a guy called Chip Wilson. Now, Chip Wilson is the guy who started the brand called Lululemon, and they are a world-renowned yoga brand, and this is his story. So if you want a blueprint, well, not really a blueprint, but if you want to follow someone's actual journey of how they created a worldwide publicly traded company, then this book is super interesting. You can follow like his ups and downs of business, of personal life, of just, it's real, it's authentic, it's raw, and it really like made me feel connected to the founder of this company. So I highly recommend Little Black Stretchy Pants. Next on the list is this one, Building a StoryBrand. So yeah, this one I didn't love as much as some of the other books I've read, but there is definitely some good insights in it. The reason I don't love it is because I think it oversimplifies how brands should really be creating a narrative for their customers. So it breaks down what's really pretty well-known concept called the hero's journey and translates it into sort of like a way of doing marketing. But I didn't love it as much as some of the other books just because people try and force their brand into this framework and it doesn't always work. So I felt like it didn't really give much room for creativity, and the story arc that you're supposed to follow works much better for films or movies and novels where there's multiple characters involved, and it didn't really do it for me in terms of e-commerce narrative creation. But anyway, it's still a good book, has good frameworks to follow, and it's decent for putting up copy on your website and clarifying your message. Another book I recently read is Superfans that somebody lent me, and it's about the importance of really building authentic connections with your audience. So there were some great nuggets in here. I did find it slightly repetitive, but he's a really cool guy. He's probably one of the first people who started podcasting and really built that into something big. I think it's still possible to follow his advice, even though the internet is a lot more saturated than it was back when Pat started doing his thing. So yeah, another good read. So some books that are not related to copywriting or anything. I love the Outlander series. I have read Sherlock Holmes, the entire collection of works. I love Sir Arthur Conan Doyle writes because it's just brilliant. It just can't be achieved with ChatGPT. I mean, I haven't tried to ask it to write in the style of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. People seem to like asking ChatGPT to write in the style of Dr. Seuss. But anyway, amazing author. It makes you really think it's real. Love it. Love all Daniel Silver books. Not Danielle Silver, Daniel Silver. Really good books about Israeli spy. Other books that I have read, or I'm currently in the middle of reading this book, which is about Israeli paratroopers, true story, real interviews with real life people. I also like real books, not just novels. Now back to business and branding. I'm gonna save my favorite book for last actually. Here we have another one by Seth Godin. It's called All Marketers Tell Stories, and I love how it's got our liars crossed out. And it's basically about how you make people feel and the story that you make them believe in, which actually is just a framework for the story that they're already in. Instead of like inventing something new, you're actually just identifying, I think, with them, if I remember correctly, because I read this a while ago. Okay, this was a great one that I read when I first started copywriting, Persuasive Copywriting by Andy Maslin. Got some great stuff in here, the basics. Copywriting Secrets. Yeah, I read this one. Good stuff in here. as well. But because I've been doing copywriting for a bunch of years now, I actually knew a lot of the stuff in here, so that was great to know. But yeah, he definitely gives some really good advice, really good framework you can follow. I borrowed this book from someone called Persuasion. I found it very tedious and I could not get through it, and I'm still not finished. You can see there's a bookmark here. It's like in the beginning chapters. I don't know if I'm ever gonna kind of finish it. Maybe someone out here in the audience watching this video will convince me. The other one, a very famous book, probably on advertising. So this one is a very old book, but there are still some things that are relevant today, even though a lot has changed in terms of the way companies do advertising and marketing, and it's just not the same as it was back in the day. And he also talks about how like copywriters back in his day would like write like one line a day, and the amount of work that I have to do nowadays for my clients is insane. I am writing and writing and writing and writing every single day. I'm not sure how I had time to make this video, but hey, I wanted to make it. Anyways, my final book that I got very recently, the Brand Positioning Workbook by Yuli Applebaum. And it is a great book because it's not just a book that you read and then forget about. It's actually a book that I keep on my desk when I'm doing brand messaging and brand strategy for clients, because it's a workbook. It's not just like some fluffy words on a page. He gives you like 26 different creative strategies that you can use to do really, really good brand positionings. I highly recommend this book. I love it. It was just, I don't know, everything about it was just really clear, really actionable, good stuff that you may already know, but the way he just puts it all together and then gives you sort of questions that you can ask your clients, or if you're doing a brand workshop, like what things you should think about and how to use the book. And so it was really, really, really useful. So that is it for today on what Sacha has been reading. If you have any recommendations on some other books, there are also, I have read more books, but they're on my Kindle, such as I read The Fortune Cookie Principle by Bernadette Duas. I have read Do Story by Bobette. I can't remember her name, sorry. I've read books on brand tone of voice, and I have read books by Marty Numier as well, like The Brand Gap and Brand Flip as well. So those are some really great ones. And that's all for today. I hope you will give me some more recommendations, because I'm always on the lookout for some great reads. Bye for now.